Discograffiti presents Queasy Listening. Episode number 1, Don Henley's The End of the Innocence. You know, it's easy to be dismissive these days and say everything sucks. With Queasy Listening, we aim to explain why you shouldn't be listening to these things ever again. So you don't have to bother figuring out just why it sucks so much, because that takes time, and time is simply the most precious commodity of them all. Isn't that so, Joe?
It doesn't take a lot of thought or time to understand or to get your head around that the Don Henley's The End of the Innocence sucks elephant dicks.
Right. It's a low-hanging fruit.
It's natural. It should be very natural.
Right. This is the We Are the World of This Thing Sucks. So I got to say, just straight off the bat, I don't have to pretend that there's some Eagles songs that I don't like or like. I like a bunch of their early stuff. And frankly, with Don Henley, I didn't even hate Building the Perfect Beast. I think The Boys of Summer is an amazing song.
That's a great song. And it's weird because that song kind of like, it has all these 80s kind of sounds to it, but it's like it pushes all the right buttons somehow.
It does. It does.
Like every sound sounds really kind of great on it.
Why does it always sound so good?
I don't know. That one is almost more mystifying why it's good.
We're throwing you a curveball, and now you're really going to listen to us because you were being generous. So, but Don
Henley's not a complete loser. He's done things that are pretty good.
That's right.
There's some good songs in the Eagles.
Don Henley, through much of the 80s, I'm going to throw some words out, okay? You tell me what comes to mind. Sanctimonious, pompous, self-righteous. You're not giving me any feedback here, but that's okay. Agonizingly self-important. Welcome to the world of Don Henley. Let's talk about the chrome-plated.
How about humorless?
Right.
Humorless. I think that's what I hate most about Don Henley.
I've never seen a face where the corners of the mouth curl down like that.
Does this guy ever have any fucking joy in his life?
Seriously.
The guy's worth like $8 trillion.
I know.
He's worth like the gross national product of like entire continents.
Yeah. Yeah, so this album, it was a massive album. If you lived during that time, came out in 1989, you definitely heard it all over the place. It sold over 6 million copies in the U.S. alone.
You want to hear what Rolling Stone said about it at the time?
What?
Now, Rolling Stone sucks Don Henley's dick more than anything in the world.
I know.
It's so sad.
Right.
It's so offensive. The degree to which they like bend over backwards to like praise Don Henley. So here's the review at the time. Returning to the theme of Desperado, the former Eagle hitched some of his finest melodies, especially on the gentle title track, to sharply focus lyrical studies of men in troubled transitions. You might say this is me talking now. The transition from innocence to the end of innocence.
Right. Now, here's one of the problems that I have with the record, okay? Let's talk about those fucking song titles first. So pompous, they all sound like William Faulkner novel titles to me. The 3 songs that were singles were The End of the Innocence, The Heart of the Matter, and The Last Worthless Evening. These are novels. These are not song titles. Speaking of Rolling Stone, you know they rated it number 389 on the 500 greatest albums.
It was higher than that at one time.
It
was in the top 200 at one time.
So one interesting thing about this record is that if you weren't alive during that time, suffice it to say that the record aptly represents the bloat that figured from that time. So everyone from that era seems to be on this thing, and weirdly, most of them aren't even audible. You've got most of the Heartbreakers, Bruce Hornsby, Toto, J.D. Souther, Wayne Shorter, Patti Smythe, Axl Rose, Take 6, Ivan Neville, Edie Brickell, Melissa Etheridge, Sheryl Crow, and Gloria Estefan. And I can only hear Axl Rose out of all those people.
You can hear Wayne Shorter. Axl Rose sings on "I Will Not Go Quietly,"
right?
Which is by far the highlight of the album. Even though that song also sucks.
It does suck.
But that's by far the best part.
Let's just go through the record with the kind of...
Okay, a little bit more setup. This record sold 6 million copies.
Right,
it was a smash hit, right? So
yeah.
Who are there like 6 million Patrick Batemans in America at this time?
Yes.
Who the fuck are these 6 million people?
They bought, listen, just to be fair, they also bought all the Phil Collins records, but I love Phil Collins. It's not the same thing. Phil Collins has a sense of humor.
I guess if you like those Phil Collins records, you like this. Maybe.
No, not if you're
not
Dave,
necessarily.
Not if you're Dave Gabriel.
Other way around.
Yeah, other way around for sure. So let's talk first about the title track. That's track number 1, the end of the Innocence. I want to first say that the chorus line, "Offer up your best defense." This is the end of the Innocence.
The "offer up your best defense" line is meaningless.
Yeah,
it rhymes with innocence, and it's like it's just
no.
A placeholder.
I get. I actually read the lyrics because I'm trying to do a really good job of explaining why it's not good. But offer up your best defense, meaning, do not go quietly into adulthood, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, right.
I get it.
Fight
okay?
against it. That's pretty weak.
Do not go gentle. So,
okay, this is a kind of a good mission statement for the record, because the general concept of this record is like, everything used to be better and now it sucks.
Right.
It's pretty much that's pretty much the driving theme of the entire thing. So he's this like wildly successful.
This is the peak of his life.
Right.
And all he's doing is pointing the finger at what's wrong.
Like, well, everything was better when? Like in like the 50s or something?
Let's also talk about, he came up in a very small, the way I picture his hometown, I don't know if it's exactly like this, is the Last Picture Show. Just like a dusty, tiny little Texas town. So maybe he had that in him, but all I know is that musically, talk about the idea of marrying the message with the medium. Those floating soft synth pads that he uses on that.
Well, we're gonna have to talk about Bruce Hornsby.
Yeah, we got to talk about the synth pads because
that's Bruce Hornsby.
Okay, so that shit made me want to set my small suburban town on fire and run screaming from what was considered normal. I can actually say that that it seemed, for me, as somebody who was interested in a creative life, to set the template on this is the polar opposite of where you want to be as far as creativity goes.
Yeah. The sound, okay, the sound of it and the sentiment of it together. Okay, I got to talk about Bruce Hornsby. I'm a piano player. I'm a keyboard player. Okay, I'm sure some people like Bruce Hornsby. He's fine. I hate Bruce Hornsby's playing. I hate how every note is played at maximum volume. He's banging on the piano as hard as humanly possible. I hate the bright tone that comes out of his piano. Like they just turn all the treble all the way up and like compressed it as hard as possible. I hate the voicings he chooses. These like these wide voicings that have all these like kind of like suspended kind of like it's the most white ass shit. So terrible.
Yeah, it is.
I hate his piano playing. But he's the anti Bill Evans. He's like the opposite of Bill Evans.
Yeah, he has no idea about texture.
He has no touch or like it's just these like ham-handed.
Listen, that's only song 1. So
that song is very Hornsby. It's got that telltale Hornsby. Like if I'm hearing Bruce Hornsby, I'm having a bad time.
Yeah.
I know he was in the Dead and everything. I know he's probably cool.
That's right.
I hate the way he plays.
All right, so track number 2, How Bad Do You Want It?
That one's so good.
Hold on. We got to talk about the honking sax that opens this song. Right. The honking sax that opens this tune should be filled completely with Monterey Jack. That's how fucking cheesy it is. It's unbelievable. And the background singers. This song is pure excrement. It really is.
He's probably trying to do like another all she wants to do is dance. Right. It's kind of like that,
Yeah, that's I guess the template. It is so bad.
That throaty sax.
It made me miss the soft synth pads. So then
also the way he sings is super annoying. Is that the way you want it?
Yeah,
his phrases, he has that like kind of clipped like the way you want it.
And then so for the next song, we touched on it quickly. I Will Not Go Quietly. Mm-hmm. Axl Rose is on there, and the reason he's on there is because let's quote the lyrics. Yeah, I'm gonna tear it up. Going to trash it up. I'm going to round it up. Going to shake it up. Oh no, baby, I will not lie down. So obviously to sing something like that and pull it off, it's not going to be Donald Henley. The record company's like, hey, you want somebody who could sell that line a little bit better than you?
The other thing that's amazing is it's kind of built around a guitar lick, but it's the most generic, shittiest, like,
like the Seinfeld bass. Yeah.
It's Danny Korchmar. He's a great guitarist. He also wrote it, but it's like, okay, we need just play some generic shit and we'll build a song around that. It's the most pedestrian.
I will say that, Don Henley, for whatever benefits and positives he has, he does not rock convincingly. And by the way, the Eagles,
They try.
The Eagles never rocked convincingly, despite what you may errantly think.
They did all right in Life in the Fast Lane. That one's all right.
It's okay. It's okay. But,
That's the most convincingly they rock.
I like the cocaine cowboy phase. Yeah. Anyway, so my favorite song is The Last Worthless Evening. So
you mean favorite as in the worst fucking song ever made?
Exactly.
It's just opposite day.
Exactly. So The Last Worthless Evening, here's why I like this song the best. So
first of all, it's 6 minutes long.
I don't care. Michelle Pfeiffer was at a party. And she was despondent, smoking a cigarette outside because she had just had a breakup. And Don Henley would try to, quote unquote, comfort her because everyone
with his penis,
because everyone wants some smug asshole rubbing their penis up and down your leg outside of a party.
Yeah.
So she rejected him, and Jack Nicholson yelled out, "Nice going, Henley." So
and everybody died.
This song is...
It's really a sad song about how he didn't get to fuck Michelle Pfeiffer.
That's exactly what it is.
It's a tragedy.
It is.
It really, this was a single. This was like a hit song.
This was a big hit
You
song.
would know it if you... I kind of forgotten about it, but then when I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, this fucking thing.
Yeah, look, because I'll be there when your broken heart is on the mend. That what he's saying is, let me know next time you break up with someone, Michelle, so I can swoop in and fuck you. This is so funny.
She knew better.
This is so funny to me as the basis for a song. That's why it's my favorite. Okay, the next one is New York Minute, which, by the way, I gotta say, it won the Grammy for Best Male Rock Performance. Why? Seriously, why? What was the criteria involved?
It seems like this is when you start with the title and you work backward if you're writing it, like...
Yeah, exactly.
I love that in a New York Minute.
Yeah.
A New York Minute. New York Minute. It's like...
It's pretty bad. The next two I have nothing to say about. Shangri-La and Little Tin God.
Dude, Little Tin God's like a reggae. It's like a reggae.
You like the reggae?
It's like a reggae cut.
Oh my God. So what I love about Gimme What You Got is it's the requisite Down with the 80s song that is so rife with synth overproduction and fumbling, stumbling, Caucasian soul platitude reaching that it also ironically encompasses and becomes a perfect emblem of the 80s.
This is like a record for like boomers who used to be idealistic and then they were like, fuck it, and became like hedge fund managers.
Right.
And they're like bitter because they feel like the world is empty or something. And they're like...
If Dirt Were Dollars is a wonderful finger-pointing message song about homeless people that sounds like it cost $1 million to create, which probably would have been better spent by the KLF burning it.
Yeah, every hideous sound you could ever possibly imagine. Some of these have like, you look at the musicians that played on it, they're all like these A-list musicians, and you hear the track and it's like really stiff like drum machine where it's just like the same drum sample with no velocity change, just like on 2 and 4 like it's like this horrible like gated reverb, like it's just with like utterly soulless, like
it sounds like
clanging every 2 seconds,
hitting a wall. So the last song, I have to talk about a little bit.
Yeah, you have a personal story about
I
this
do.
one.
This was a monster hit, and it was actually written by Mike Campbell from the Heartbreakers, which I didn't previously know. He had this
song fucking eats ass.
It does. It
so
does.
Terrible.
So Henley had something he was apparently trying to say for quite some time and was able to fit it on top of Mike's lyrics. He Frankensteined it on. And as Mike says, a lot of girls like it. So I do want to tell a story.
He does the clip thing again. Heart of the matter.
And I think it's about... Then you cue the background singers. Forgiveness. So here, what happened during this one, for this one, this song is kind of indelibly seared into my psyche. There was a girl who I went to high school with who was way out of my league, to be totally honest with you. And she was like the dream girl that I was never going to attain. And she actually showed interest in me. And one night when I was at my friend's house on a psychedelic, she came over and we made out, and it looked like we were careening into a relationship. I couldn't believe it. I was out of my mind, totally incredulous. And she chose somebody else over me.
She Michelle Pfeiffer'd you.
She Michelle Pfeiffer'd me. No, I got Michelle Pfeiffer'd.
Right.
And I was working at a video store at the time, and she came in with a note and a cassette tape that only had the song Heart of the Matter on it, which means that there was 85 unused minutes on that tape. And that was supposed to convey what she was hoping I'd feel about it, which oddly totally freed me from feeling bad about it. If this girl would give this tape to me, then I was way better off not being enmeshed. So in any case,
she probably like read the lyrics and was like, oh, this is so perfect. These times are so uncertain. There's a yearning undefined. People filled with rage. We all need a little tenderness. How can love survive in such a graceless age? The late 80s, I guess.
Yeah.
Graceless. The trust and self-assurance that lead to happiness. They're the very things we kill, I guess. Oh, man.
It's pretty bad.
What the fuck is this?
Pretty rancid. What song is that?
That's Heart of the Matter.
That's Heart of the Matter.
That sounded like the verse or something. How do you even
So this is, in case you hadn't guessed by this point, this is an album to avoid at all costs. If you're in a CVS or a Rite Aid that's playing it,
if you have a choice between this and COVID,
yeah,
go
choose
ahead and
COVID.
take your chance with COVID.
Always choose COVID over the
if someone's like, there's a COVID-free room over here where the end of the Innocence is playing,
right.
Or you can go and sit in there in this unventilated room with COVID
that's
patients.
COVID full.
I would go ahead and take your chances.
Yeah, go in the COVID full room. Thank you for joining us. This is the inaugural episode of Queasy Listening.
And this one, we're going to try to keep these to records that are sort of like that some people somewhere liked at some time.
Right. And then there will be other shows that you can tune into as a Patreon family member that will be rolling out as time goes on. Please enjoy those. And stay tuned for lots more coming down.
This was fun. I could do this.
Let's do it again.
Let's do another one of these.
As soon as the mics turn off, let's do it again.
I'm gonna look one up right now. All right. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us.
All right. Bye-bye.